all right. Welcome everybody to the lunchtime chart show. We're talking about a Hoth today. Hoth, H-O-T-H, finally breaking out. That's right. Stock is exploding. Hang on, let's try something new here. Oh no, let's hang on. There we go. This is it. Okay. So Hoth is breaking out finally. Again, it's a stock that basically doubled. Hey, ciao Carmelo. Come stai? Tutto a posto? All right. Hoth, H-O-T-H. Is this thing going to double? Is Hoth going to double? Right now we're trading at $1.82. By the way, I got to admit, I was wrong. We had a gap that opened this morning on the 5-minute chart, and I was telling our penny stock billionaire gang that this I always expect the gaps to close, but right now this thing it may not. I hate to say it's not going to close, but they almost always close. They almost always close, but right now this thing is ready to break out. And again, these things can go. Sometimes when you have a gap, it can keep going. It can keep going. It can make a couple of gaps. So this thing can run to 350, may have a couple of gaps, and then it could pull back, 2 weeks later. Meanwhile, you can make a lot of money with the stock. Again, nothing here is advice. These are all high-risk stocks. And you can't, look, this is all paid content. Richard, is this the same Richard? No, I know we got a guy in the UK who's in Hoth. And by the way, what have I been telling you guys for the last 3 months? The bigger the consolidation phase, the bigger the pennant, the bigger the breakout. I've been very consistent about saying that. And if you look at the Hoth chart, you see exactly what's going on and why this could be so big. Okay, so I'm going to show the TikTok people. Guys, if you're watching on TikTok, please click the hearts button. Click that hearts button or likes, whatever it is, so we get more eyeballs on the live stream. Sta bene, grazie sempre per consigli. Bene, grazie. Okay. Allora, let's go. Okay, so come per italiano charts. How do you say charts in Italian? Okay, andiamo grafo. Okay. Here's what's going on, guys. Do you see this? You see this move? You see this giant parabolic move I'm showing you right here? That's exactly what we're looking for with Hoth. This type of move coming up next, okay? This gives you a preview of where it can go, okay? So we launched it right here, and it basically doubled on day one. Well, almost. Went up, I think, like 90% or whatever it is, and then it's been consolidating. Okay, till here we're consolidated, and Friday it started breaking out, which we told you was happening. Now, I'm expecting a move equivalent in length to this consolidation, which means we should go to at least over here, just short term. I'm talking about short term. I'm just talking about the next week or 2 weeks. I'm expecting a return to right over here, which is about $4. 350 to 450 is the move that I'm looking for. Okay. On Hoth, H-O-T-H. We're already at $1.82. Again, we got to break out of this consolidation, breaking out on the 50 and the 200 moving averages on daily charts. How about the weekly? I wonder what that's doing. Oh, by the way, so the weekly chart, it's all screwed up, but the next level of resistance is going to be right around 450. Yeah, that makes sense, 450. So basically, we can run to 450. At least, and that's what we're going to run into a little bit of resistance at 450. And if we break out of 450 on Hoth, we can go to these numbers over here, which is how much? I don't know, 30, 50, 70. You can have escape velocity, but really we could run to $25, $30, right in here, right in there we can run to. All right, so this thing is exploding. Look at this beautiful chart setup. Tome, no, we're going to talk about other stocks. I'm talking about Hoth right now, just for starters. But, our other stocks are kind of quiet today. I mean, they're kind of quiet. It's like, Stocks they're a little bit quiet, so I'm talking about the stuff that's moving because the audience, they want to see action. They're addicts for action. Okay, let's zoom in on the 5-minute charts. What's going on with Hoth? Oh shit, I screwed up the chart. It's all screwed up now. Okay, by the way, the volume is big. We're getting like big volume. I mean, this is like a real volume. 1.5 million shares or more volume. That's big volume for this stock. I mean, and by the way, they got plenty of cash. Oh, what do they do? You want to know what they do? You actually care about you knowing what these guys do? Hang on, let me pull this up. So Hoth is a biotech company, a drug development company. They got 5 programs. Okay, so you got 5 shots on goal, multiple shots on goal. Each of these has $1 billion plus market opportunities. Okay, $1 billion market opportunities, including, well, the big one right now, which they're making progress with, which is they're going to the European market for a clinical trial, is the drug for therapeutic for the chemo rash. So people undergoing chemotherapy, they develop a rash, which basically a lot of times forces them to stop taking the chemo. So it's a major problem that they're solving. Okay, this is a market that's worth, I don't know, could be worth billions of dollars. Okay, so major market opportunity, and then they got 5 more, including an obesity drug, for treatment for obesity, kind of like one of these Ozempic type things, but targeting less or no side effects, and ideally in oral form, not injection. So which could be a big deal. And they're developing this in partnership with the Veterans Administration. We're going to talk about ADN, work sport. We're going to go through them. Okay, but first, Hoth, because Hoth is breaking out. Okay, so we got a cup and handle. We got a cup and handle pattern right now, chart pattern on which charts? On the daily charts for sure. So we got a breakout happening from the cup and handle formation on the daily charts. Okay, let me zoom out again. Actually, sorry, let me go to the charts. So again, you got your cup and handle. You got a breakout above this, out of this consolidation phase. So again, my target is $4.50, $4.50 on Hoth, HOTH. Okay, yeah, Matt. Why do you think I'm talking about Hoth? Look at this, Richard. Remember when I told you that Hoth, the big news would start happening right after Labor Day? What did I tell you? Right after Labor Day, a lot of these stocks, they're going to start moving right after Labor Day. So, and here we are, right on time. All the news is coming out. Everything is starting to move. Okay, by the way, if you're watching, hang on a second. If you want to get our free newsletter, click the link in the bio. If you're watching on TikTok, click the link in the bio to get the free newsletter. Yeah, Richard, that's right. This guy's been waiting 3 months. What did I tell you? The bigger the consolidation, the bigger that sideways consolidation, the bigger the breakout to the upside. I'm looking for a minimum of 450. Minimum. Hang on. Oh, wrong. Right. Hang on one sec. Where is my thing here? Okay. Pin. I don't know how this thing works. Oh, here we go. Okay, guys, if you want to get the free newsletter, click the link on TikTok, the one that says join free newsletter. Click that. It's right next to your comments button. To get the free newsletter that goes out every day or every other day. And if you're watching on YouTube or wherever, click the link in the video description to get the free newsletter. And if you're watching, make sure you like, you repost, share, whatever it is. Make sure we get the word out there on the content. Reshare the live stream if you're watching on TikTok. And if you're watching on on X and on TikTok, you know what I'm saying. Okay, you know exactly what I'm saying. All right, so Hoth is breaking out. Now let's talk about stuff that is. Yeah, let's talk about stuff that's not moving. Let's talk about stuff that's consolidating. They don't stop. I got news for you guys. These stocks, they don't go up like literally all day long every day. Sometimes they gotta take a break. And that's what's going on with WorkSport. WorkSport, we're waiting for a breakout of this consolidation. By the way, look, this is the big problem. You know, a lot of these day trade, a lot of you guys are addicted to action. You expect things to go to the moon every day. It doesn't work that way. The biggest moves, okay, again, if you read my book, 10-Bagger Blueprint, okay, I talk about this. The biggest moves, it takes a while to develop. Look, an elephant, look, the more complicated, the bigger the thing is, the longer the gestation period. How long does a human baby take to pop out? It doesn't happen in a day. It takes 9 months. How about an elephant? An elephant, I think, takes, I don't know, anybody know how long? I think it's 14 months or 12. It's a long time. It's not like a fly, right? Fly, they hatch in a day, okay? The more complicated, the bigger the upside, the bigger the move. Coolio. Is this the real Coolio? He bought Hoth last week. Look at this. This is the famous guy. We got celebrities here. We got celebrities watching here. Okay. Anyway, look, what's going on with WorkSport is, look, I think WorkSport could be a $50 to $75 stock, all right? And we broke out over here. We've been above the moving average now for the last, 2 weeks. Okay, that's your daily chart. Excuse me, that's your hourly chart. We got a breakout. We're holding well above where we started. Okay. And I'm looking for a return to where? To at least over here. At least here. How is that possible? How can this $3.50 stock go to $50 or $70? Oh, the real Coolio died? Coolio died? No. He died? I don't believe that. Okay, so let's pull this up. Okay, I'm looking again. Pennant, we got a breakout, pennant forming, and it's going to bounce. When? Could be tomorrow. Who knows? Could be in a day. We don't know. I'm curious what Open is doing. It's a stock we were talking about. I'm only pulling it up. Open is not a client of ours, so we're not, I'm only mentioning it because, people are following it. I'm a little bit concerned that the momentum has really slowed down, and it's vulnerable. Open is vulnerable to a big pullback and a close of this gap. Very vulnerable to a drop of 50%. I mean, we could close this gap on Open easily. Open can drop back to $5 tomorrow, and you wouldn't even blink. You got this gap. This is the gap that's going to close with Open. When? I don't know. It's touch and go. Open is touch and go. We're talking about Open right now. Okay, so I showed you what's going on with WorkSport. How about ADN? Oh, shit, ADN. ADN exploded. We launched it, tripled in 2 days, and then it's pulled back. And it's kind of hanging out here. It's we're touching the moving average, and this could be a fake out. I believe that is not a breakdown. I believe it's a fake out. We got a lot of support here. So, but we need to get it off the support. So I think it's going to be news flow. We need to have some news flow with this stock. We need news flow. It's been a week. It's gotten weak here. It's gotten weak. How about WGRX? WGRX. Friday or Thursday was ready to break out. I mean, last week it looked like it was going to double like in one day, and now it's pulled back. It's pulled back. Let me see. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. The daily chart looks good. Hang on a second. The daily chart looks good. We're forming a pennant. This is the pennant forming on Well Logistics. By the way, I'm going to be So there's this week, this month, I should say, there's a lot of, there's a bunch of conferences going on. So we're just at the Wainwright conference. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the NEBA conference. That's the National Investment Bankers Association. It's a conference for like regional investment banking firms and, some of these smaller investment banks. There's going to be a bunch of companies and, a bunch of, guys in the deal business. That's going to be in Fort Lauderdale. So hopefully I'll be there tomorrow. It's like I got a red-eye flight, which is like ridiculous. I got to get on, but this is what we have to do. And hopefully we can do the live stream with Hoth tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's on the schedule. The Hoth live stream for 1 o'clock is on the schedule, but I got to check into the hotel. So, and then, so it's kind of I'm getting in at 7 a.m. So I don't know. But why am I telling you this? Oh, because Logistics is going to be presenting there. So Logistics is going to be presenting. Now, I'm not expecting anything big from that event. Well, it could be. It's kind of like they're going to have some like meetings, some investor meetings. It's not a big event. I mean, it's like 400 people, but it's mostly like on the investment banking side. It's not so many. I mean, they got some like family offices, some hedge fund guys. It's not that big. So I'm not expecting any big move, but I'm expecting some news. We got to have some news coming out from Logistics. Guys, what do I tell you this? News flow. We need to have news flow. News flow is the fuel for 10 baggers. ADN, we had big news flow. It exploded. And nobody was expecting it. And I don't know, they've been putting out news. There's not a problem. I mean, last week they had news, the big Airbus news. We got to do an update. Honestly, do you think WorkSport will get to $10? I think WorkSport, 100% honestly, I believe WorkSport can be potentially a $50 stock. And I'll tell you how. So WorkSport, they're doing $20 million in revenues. The market cap, the whole company is valued at $20 million. The run rate is $20 million. In other words, the revenues are exploding. They're doing like, I think, $1 million a month right now plus, but they're going to hit like a $2 million run rate at some point. What the CEO has said is the goal, and they've been very clear about their goal. The goal is to get this thing to a $100 million run rate this year. Okay? And what that means is if they can hit that type of velocity, that type of revenue velocity, I talk about this in the book, in the 10-bagger blueprint. What's this book about? And by the way, you want the video course? Click the link above in the bio to get the video course. If you're watching on TikTok, the link in the bio. It's very simple. What is the framework? How do I find all these stocks to become 10 baggers? You got to get in what's called a 10-bagger window, okay? Rule number one, if you want a 10-bagger, you got to be in what I call the 10-bagger window. What is it? Well, I got a whole chapter that explains it. Where is it? The 10-bagger window. Which page is that? Page 42. Should I read to you from page 42? The 10-bagger window, okay? The 10-bagger window. I talk about something called the inflection point. Linear versus exponential growth, okay? So so what do we need? We need a stock. The number one thing I'm looking for, okay, for stocks to go, to be 10 baggers, they got to be in the 10-bagger window. And what is the 10-bagger window? You know what that is? You want to know what that is? Well, if you want to know what that is, you got to click the link above in the bio and subscribe to get the video course, the 10-bagger blueprint. We'll get the video course. It's on WHOP, W-H-O-P. And also you get, we launched the, that's when we give you early alerts when we launch that new banger stock. Okay. But seriously, so the 10-bagger window is this. If you look, stocks, generally, most of the time, they're just going sideways. They're not making big moves. But if a company all of a sudden enters this explosive growth phase where the revenues or the profits, whatever it is, whatever the metric, it can start going parabolic. In other words, it's not going up 20% a year, none of that. No, in other words, you're doubling quarter over quarter growth is doubling, which is exactly what's happening. Well, WorkSport is almost there. I mean, they doubled over last year, but they're growing, but it's speeding up. It's like a snowball. So when you have this massive quarter-over-quarter growth where you could double revenues or something crazy like that, or every 6 months you can double, that's an explosive growth phase. That's the exponential growth phase. And that's when the market wakes up. And the market loves speed. Okay, the market loves velocity, speed. They want that exponential move. So the stock starts to take off. It doesn't go like this. It goes like this. It goes straight up. So Worksport is entering that phase right now. They're in that phase. Worksport is in that phase. So if they do 100 million in revenues, if they hit 100 million run rate, I believe the market will be willing to pay 5 times revenues. Okay, 5 times revenues. That's $500 million. Okay, so you divide that by the number of shares outstanding. Right now they got what, 6 million shares out, 7 million shares, 6 million shares out. So let's say they get 10 million shares out. They raise a bunch of money. If they go to 10 million shares, it's almost double the share count. The stock would be trading at $50 a share. Okay, $50 a share. What if I'm half right? What if the market only pays, instead of a 5x, the market will pay a 3x or 2x or whatever? So you're going to get $25 a share, but maybe they'll have less shares out. Not 10 million, they'll have 7 million. So you'll have $30 a share. Somebody's saying, where's it? $40. Look, here's what I say about these reverse splits on the charts. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what the price. The stock chart doesn't pay attention to that. The charts like to go back to old highs, but do they go back all the way? In other words, we've seen stocks that had, like, in theory, because of a reverse splits, it's like $1,000 a share. Am I saying the stock is going to go to 1,000 a share from $1? No, but could it happen? Yes, we've had that happen. We have had 1,000 baggers here. Okay, it takes a while. Okay, like what do we have that went up 1,000 bagger? Axon, a stock. We introduced at $1.30 or $1.50. It went to $1,600 based on with splits. You would have made 1,000 times your money, not 1,000%, 1,000 times your money. Every $1,000 would turn into $1 million. Craig, exactly. Look, people, you got to have patience to make money. Okay, so what do we have? We have C plus. He pulls up. Okay, we're talking about elephant's gestation period, 22 months. Oh my God. That's for the African elephant. The Asian elephant is 18 months to 22 months. What was I telling you guys? The bigger something is, the more important it is, the longer the gestation period is. Okay, an oak tree doesn't grow from an acorn overnight. Okay, it's not a weed. A weed pops up. You got to learn from nature. Nature and stocks is the same thing. It's the same thing. Nature, stock market, 100% the same thing. That's why you got to study Elliott Wave, W.D. Gann, all that stuff. So an elephant takes, we hear from C++, he's saying an elephant takes 22 months to give birth. A human is 9 months. A 10-bagger, how long does a 10-bagger take to give birth? On average, you know what the answer is? 6 to 9 months. Okay, I'm looking for stocks to become 10-baggers. This is not the day trading channel. We're not here to pick up nickels and dimes like these low-life mooch bums, fake trading gurus, these, what are they called? Furus, fake gurus. You got these fake gurus with their baseball caps indoors and their flooded salvage title cars, trying to steal your children's lunchbox money. They're trying to sell you their trading coaching. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at the chart in just a second. So no, we're here for 10-bagger gains, 10 baggers only. And it takes about 6 months to explode. Okay, let's go to WGRX. WGRX has lost a little bit of momentum. We need news flow. I've been saying this for a while. Yeah, I don't like this thing. I mean, look, the 15-minute chart is looking kind of it's looking tired. It needs, if they can pop news, you can have a big move here. I think they may have news this week, some good news. I'll tell you why. Because again, they're going to be speaking at this conference, so they should have news. That's right, Richard, repost the video. That's right. What did he say? Repost. Guys, repost. ADTX. Look, ADTX started to move. And what did I say? What did I tell you guys? What did I tell the CEO? I said, listen, man, you got to get some news. You got to get the news out. We got momentum. You got to put out news. You know, who am I? All the way from Cancun. Is that where El Chapo is? Is El Chapo in Cancun? Hoth, H-O-T-H. Are we moving? I think Hoth might close at $2. $1.81. Look, Hoth wants to go higher. I am worried there's a little bit of a gap. There's a bit of a gap that opened this morning, you know, on the 5-minute chart. I don't like these gaps, but it is what it is. So $1.86. We had $1.86 today. We had $1.86 in Hoth. I mean, I think WKSP could be one of our biggest winners. Ridiculous winner. I mean, the revenues are exploding, okay? Javier, yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, the thing with WGRX, yeah, they got to get news flow. I mean, look, I tell every company, look, the point is we want to see that news flow. I think, look, they're serious guys. They have a real business, right? But people want to see some traction, some deal flow. Okay, so WGRX, we're at support on the 5-minute chart. We got a double bottom. So we got a double bottom we got big support here. We got big support in WGRX right here. This $1.38. We could bounce hard from here. And that could happen tomorrow. Yeah, WGRX wants to go higher. You know these stocks, they have like this desire to move. Okay. All right, guys. How about pin a notice? How about what? Okay. So, by the way, we're going to be launching a new banger. When are we launching a new banger? It could be in about a week, maybe 8 days. It might be later this month. And what is that? Look, our goal here is two things. Number one is the goal is to bring you stocks which can increase 10x. Okay, stocks go up 1,000% or more. That's what we do here. But meanwhile, a lot of you guys don't have the patience to wait 6 months. So when we launch our new stock, whenever we launch a new stock, the criteria, one of our criteria is, besides all the fundamentals and all that, but does it have what it takes to double on day one? Does it have what it takes to double on day one? And that's what it is. So you know, every month we're launching 1 or 2 new stocks that have 10x upside potential. We can make potentially 10 times your money or more over 6 months. But meanwhile, on day one, they're going to double. So if you want to get in early, the key to making money is you got to get in at the ground floor. You got to get in at the ground floor. Okay, you don't want to chase these things when they're already up. So you want to get in at the ground floor. And to get in at the ground floor, you got to get our early alerts. How do you do that? You click the link above in the bio. It's on WAP. So we have, so here's what you get. Here's what you get. You get early alerts. This is a program. It's a premium service. You get early alerts. So when we launch a new stock, we tell you what time and where. Okay, that way you can get in right at the ground floor. And that, by the way, it's $200 a month. So it's not free. It's $200 a month. The idea is you can make at least 10 times that. If you're not making at least 10 times that $200, you're doing something wrong. Okay, in other words, you got to be trading with at least, I don't know, 10 grand, I think. But if you're putting in 5 grand into each new ideas, whatever it is, you can easily double your money or more each month. Okay, not advice. This is not a guarantee. This is, but that's the idea. So we're launching the new banger. So here's what you get. You get the early alerts. You also get the trading signals. We have a private Telegram channel. We're giving you day trading signals throughout the day. And also there is the video course, the 10-bagger blueprint video course. We have a whole bunch of videos that explain all the key concepts, including everything you need to know about charting and trading. And that's right, we're talking about moving averages. We're talking about, Javier is asking about RSI. He's asking about RSI or MACD, or somebody's asking about MACD. And I say, yeah, you don't need any of that fancy stuff. All you need is the moving average, and we tell you exactly how to do it. And what else do you get? You get a private chat. That's right. You get the chat. You can talk to your fellow penny stock billionaires. And by the way, so all day long, we have a chat going. It's on WAP, right? All day long, they're talking about, I don't know, not just our stocks. They got other stuff. There's other stocks. What are they talking about? They're talking about other stocks that are moving that you can get. And these are guys that are making a lot of money. So you could, with this thing here, let me show you. You want to see the chat? You want to see the private chat? I'm going to give you a preview. So this is on WAP. So we got a chat going all day long. So you can, by the way, so we got all sorts of stuff going. The guys talking about ASST stock. I'm not involved with. We got guys we got some guys complaining. Guys, yeah, different. You get different stuff. That's one of the new stocks they're talking about. Blah blah blah. Let's see. So we got different stuff going all day long. We got some really good traders in that private chat, so you can talk to your fellow traders. And if you have questions, you want to ask me any questions, I'll answer your questions. That's right. It's on the chat. If you go in the chat on WAP, I'll answer whatever questions you have. Okay. Richard Bailey bought 20,000 Hoth. The question is, Richard, when did you get in? What price? When did you get into Hoth? Did you just get it now, or did you get it when we launched it? I'm trying to get. How do I get this? Okay. Okay, guys, click the button to share the live stream. If you're watching on, I don't know, whatever, TikTok or whatever, make sure you share or whatever. Look, here is the deal. Here is the deal, guys. What's moving today? What's moving is Hoth. The other stocks are not moving today. Like when they say every dog has his day. I'm not saying these are dog stocks, but every dog, sometimes it's Hoth. It's like horses on a racetrack. Sometimes one is the front runner. Sometimes they're all nose to nose, neck to neck, I think they call it. Neck and neck, nose and nose. And sometimes one is a front runner and one is like, it goes. The idea is this. Here's what I've learned. What I've learned is when we, all our stocks, the reason our stocks also do well is, the CEOs of these companies, they're under pressure. It's good, in a good way, good pressure. They're under pressure to perform, to deliver results because they know what's expected. Okay, they know what's expected, that we expect them to be 10 baggers. Okay, and, people rise to their expectations. It's kind of the reality. Yeah, we're working with LITM, but, look, LITM has been kind of LITM has been a bit of a dog. They have news. They haven't had news in a month. And they're supposed to have a bunch of drilling results coming out now. Yeah, they haven't had news in a month. They told us originally, yeah, we're going to have news every week, blah, blah, blah. Everybody, look, this is the problem. Every company, look, one of the things I tell companies, it's not for everybody. Look, we charge companies to be on here. Yes, it's a paid program. but I'm very selective. I'm very selective. I only want companies which have 10x upside. Okay, the only companies we bring on here, okay, are companies, are stocks which have 10x upside potential, where you can make 10 times your money over a period of 6 months. And they have to have a list of, these companies, these stocks meet a list of very strict criteria. The criteria is right here. One of them is they got to have news flow, which means they're at the inflection point. They got to have the valuation's got to be cheap. We got to be getting, there's a whole list. Check out listen, if you want to know what it is, go get our video course. It's on WAP. Click the link above in the bio. It'll change your life. If you're watching this, I think LITM will have news probably in December. Listen, some of these guys are just, they wake up whenever they wake up. But it's not, that's not the deal. It's not the way it's supposed to be. In other words, it's not, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay, the way it's supposed to be is, we tell companies very specifically, look, don't waste my time unless you're gonna have news every week or every 2 weeks. Okay, because we need to have, because that's what the market expects. Okay, if you want, again, this is very specific. I can work with 1 million companies. I only work with a handful of companies. Why is that? Because, they have to meet a list of very important criteria. They have to be at the inflection point, which means news flow, which means also undervalued, deeply undervalued. They got to have a CEO that gets it, all these things. And they got to have the right chart set up. Mr. J, I'll tell you what, Mr. J, I'll tell you what. You know what you can do, Mr. J? Here's what you do. By the way, here's how you can make money. Very simple. Look, I don't have time to go do research in a lot of these companies. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there. I have a limited thing, right? If you have a company, and I try to explain this, okay? You want to get at the ground floor of a stock. Let's say you're a bag holder in a stock, right? You have a stock, it meets our criteria, which means it's deeply undervalued. It's got the right chart set up. They're at the inflection point, meaning they're going to start putting out news flow. You got a CEO that gets it, that's going to do live streams and all that. Send them to us, right? Now, we do charge you money. It's a paid program, okay? It's not cheap. But here's what you're going to get. We're going to give you a commission, a referral fee. A referral fee of between, depending on how much work we have to do, but it's going to be between $5 and $10 grand. And we actually just gave a guy a referral on a stock recently. I sent a wire. Yeah, just ask. We have a guy. I don't know if he wants to know, but I just sent the guy a wire for $12,500. $12,500 for making a simple referral. But here's the deal. Very simple. When I say referral, I don't need you to send me a stock symbol. I don't need. In other words, what a referral? What does a referral mean? Here's the criteria. If you want to get paid a referral fee for referring us companies, okay. If you know of a stock that can benefit from our platform, they meet our criteria. Meaning, ideally, it's under $5. You got the charts set up. You got the fundamentals. So here's what you do. Ideally, you have a relationship with a company, meaning that when you contact the CEO and you say, hey, listen, I think this, being on a Wall Street Reporter can help you, he's going to take it seriously. Okay, meaning that I don't have to go through a whole sales pitch for 5 years with this guy, because a lot of times there's a long sales cycle. I don't have time to go through that nonsense. It's got to be something where you have a relationship with the company, meaning that they trust you. So if you tell the CEO that, hey, go on this Wall Street Reporter website, all their stocks double on day one, they all become, or they can become 10 baggers, you're going to have massive volume, you'll raise millions of dollars, all that stuff. If he's going to listen to you right away, okay, that means that's a referral. So then what you do is this. You reach out to the company, to the CEO, you say, look, I think you should go on this program, Wall Street Reporter. If you'd like, I can make the introduction. That's what you write the company. I've been following them. All their stocks are working. The whole blah blah blah. Okay, they're known for 10 baggers. They got millions of people following it. It's whatever you write. And you say, look, I can make an introduction. Okay, fine. And if the CEO says yes, okay, he says yes, sounds good. in the email, now you take that email and then you forward it to me. Okay, you forward the email to me where the CEO says to you, okay, yeah, I'd like to meet this guy. I want to talk. I want to set up a Zoom call. Okay, that's a referral. That's a referral. Okay, that means I'm going to contact the guy, tell him what we're doing. Hopefully it's not going to take too long, and you'll get a referral fee. So here's the deal. Depending, is it a hot lead, like a hot referral, meaning like, okay, this is like, we don't have to go through a whole song and dance. It's going to be 10%, meaning like, it's done. If I have to go through a whole process, it's going to be 5%. Like, depending on how the lead is, warm, hot, whatever, I don't know. We're trying to figure out. And you know what? I'll give you also 6 months of free subscription on the WAP, WHOP. So if you're interested in making money from sending referrals, I think C Plus contacted me. C Plus, this is what I was going to email you explaining, but this is what I'm saying. So, what this means, I think Richard, you sent me a thing. Okay, so don't send me stock tickers. I don't want to look at stock tickers. Basically, either you know the company, you have a relationship, or if it's a cold approach, okay, meaning like, okay, you see a stock, which meets that criteria, you just contact them. You contact them out of the blue and say, hey, this thing can, I follow this thing and this could be a benefit, blah, 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 that's okay. Now you understand. Okay. So that's a colder lead. So that one we do 5% on because, the guy doesn't know you really. He just got an email from you today. So now we got to do a lot more work. It's like a lot more work basically. It's basically like a cold, it's a cold lead. Okay. Meaning like if you just contact the company cold that you don't really know them and then they say, yeah, I'm interested in going on Wall Street Reporter, it's kind of a cold lead. So for that, we'll do 5% because we have to do a lot more work. It's going to take like a month. But if you know them already, then it's a 10% because, okay, so Richard, hard to get in contact with them from me in the UK. Email them. Richard, this is the problem. Why do you think we're paying? Richard, why do you think I'm willing to pay 5 or 10 grand or whatever the percentage is for a referral? Because it's a lot of work. If it was easy, everybody would be doing this all day long. So, now, meaning you contacted 5 companies or whatever it is. Yeah, these guys are flaky. They don't return emails. They don't return calls. It takes time. You gotta follow up. It's not easy. Okay, but if somebody actually was willing to put in 4 hours a day, if you guys put in 4 hours a day, 4 days in a row, 4 days, the 4-hour, 4-day work week. Okay, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. You contact, in other words, you reach out to 50 companies a week. Okay, you got to reach out to 200 companies, 50 companies a week. So like 10 companies a day, whatever it is. You contact 10 companies a day consistently. You're going to make 20 grand a month. You're going to make 20 grand a month because, it's a numbers game. It's really a numbers game. You got to find decent companies. You contact them. If we sign them up, that's how it is. Are you nervous to contact them? No, you're doing them a favor. So, by the way, you can nervous. You're sending the guy an email. It's not like what are you approaching a girl on the street? It's not like you're walking up to like a hot girl in the middle of Midtown Manhattan and asking her for a phone number. You're doing the guy a favor. All right, you're doing the girl a favor. You got to look at it that way. You're sending an email. Why do you think everybody's doing that Tinder? Because they don't want to do cold. They don't want to do cold calling. They don't want to approach live and in person. They don't do that. I don't know. The world has changed. I don't know. In my day, you had to like approach a girl on the street and then ask her phone number. You wouldn't even have phones. You had to write it down with a piece of paper. They wouldn't have phones. They had pay phones. They didn't have mobile phones. You had to have a pen with you always and a piece of paper. Otherwise, You're not going to remember the number. And by the way, half the time when the girl gave you the number, it was a bad number. Yeah, that's right. It was a fake number or you wrote it down wrong. It was hard. Not like today. You got this Tinder, you swipe and, right away you swipe and you got a supermodel comes over to your house with a box of pizza and a 6-pack. That's you guys are spoiled. There you go. Yeah, no, there's a whole I think there's a whole science, right? And yeah, you know what's funny? I remember I had a friend, this is like in the 90s. A friend of mine, he was a really good-looking guy. Good-looking guy, great shape. And this is how hard it was. And he had a great personality. He had the rap was great. I mean, this guy was incredible. And he would pick up girls in the middle of Midtown Manhattan. That's hard. I mean, that's the hardest environment to pick up girls on the street in New York City. That's like the hardest. That's a hard environment because they all think you're crazy. They wear sunglasses. They don't want to make eye contact because, for obvious reasons, there's crazy people. It's not like you're, big difference. You try. Okay. And then this guy, again, good looking guy, great rap. Even then, of the numbers that he would get, probably 1 out of 4. His closing rate would be 1 out of 4 that he'd go out with, meaning like half the numbers would be bad numbers, half the girls would flake out. So it was 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. So this is like, again, this is like guys like a superstar pickup artist, basically, this guy. And he was only getting 1 out of 4 closing rate. I'm talking about a date. I'm not talking about close. Okay, I'm talking about a date would actually meet him after calling. So so this is easy. What I'm giving you here. Have you picked up any? Not cold on the street. Not cold on the street. Like in the middle of the street. No, I mean like a normal thing, like a normal. I don't know, in a restaurant. Yeah, I mean normal stuff, normal cold, normal cold type of normal thing. In the street, I've never been able to do it. I've only tried, and I haven't tried that many times because it's like, how do you know, it's hard, what do you really need to think very, very fast. You got to be super, it takes practice. What's funny? Speaking of, who I could have, I missed my shot. Ivanka Trump. I could have picked up Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump, Trump's daughter, or the one who's hot now. I mean, she's older now. But I remember, I'm walking down the street. It's on 57th Street. I remember, I've said this story, I think, once. It's like a late summer, late August. The sun is going. It's like a beautiful day. Like, nobody's on the streets. I'm walking up 57th Street because I was living. Where was I living? I was living at 150 East 57. That's where 150 East 57. That was my old address. So I'm living there. I'm walking up the street to go to a restaurant, and there's nobody in the street. I see this girl walking towards me, beautiful. I say because it was incongruent. It just didn't make sense. Because you don't see because she was very elegantly dressed, wearing a dress, not pants, looked very elegant, heels, elegantly dressed. Just by herself, just in the middle of the street, very calm, just walking directly towards me. And I'm looking, I'm like, something doesn't add up. I'm not even paying attention. Just your eyes, something. I was like, what's going on this? And as she gets close to me, I'm like, man, this girl's hot. This girl's beautiful. The only problem is she's a little bit taller than me. She's maybe a head taller. Not a head, but she's tall. She's wearing heels. She's I think she's 6 foot in heels. Ivanka Trump has got to be 6 foot tall in heels. So it's a little bit, no, more than 6 foot tall in heels. And as I make eye contact with her, and we make eye contact, right? And she gives a little smile. I'm which is unusual. Girls on the street in Midtown Manhattan never will make eye contact at all, or smile. Never happens. Never. In LA, it could happen. In LA, people, because they're flaky or whatever it is, or I guess other environments. I don't know. I'm just thinking in LA, if you're standing in the middle of, I don't know, whatever it is, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills. Yeah, they're in a good mood. Whatever. Yeah, they'll make eye contact. You'll get a smile, but it's just being polite. They're not. It's not. It's not. They're just being polite. So I'm walking. So I make eye contact with her, and then I'm realizing, what do I know this girl from? And I'm thinking, should I say something? By the time I figured out, oh, it's Ivanka Trump, but she already walked past me. Then you can't go and turn around and chase after, and that's because then they think you're a psychopath. You know, you can't come back from behind them and say, hey, you know, let's meet. No, you can't do that. It doesn't work. So I missed my opportunity. I could have been Donald Trump's son-in-law. I was, yeah, so close, but so far. It's funny. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's very. I don't. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk. Okay, back to the stocks. Which chart is looking good? Richard, what are we talking about? Which stock? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, listen, we're here to talk about stocks. We're not here to talk about picking girls up in Midtown. Okay, we're talking about stocks. We're talking about Hoth, or as we'll call it, Hottie, Hoth. Wow, this thing is ready to go. Wow, look at this 15-minute chart. Oh, wow, Hoth looks like it's ready to explode into the close. It's 2 o'clock. Hoth looks like it's ready to explode into the close. Okay, yeah, there we go. This thing is ready to go. Hoth, ready to go, ready to explode. I'm concerned about the gap, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. Oh, we got Adam here. Adam. Adam is trading various, I don't know, he's on WAP. On our chat. He's in the chat talking about, you know, all the stocks that are moving. Different stuff, not just ours. He's got a whole bunch of them. So when you join, if you join our private Telegram, the whole community, you get access to the private chat. You get the early alerts. So yeah, let me give you a quick plug for the program. If you want to get in for our next banger that's going to be launching probably in a week or so, a new banger is going to be launching. It's probably going to double on day one. You got to get it at the ground floor. How do you do it? You sign up. Click the link above in the bio. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the video description below. It's on WAP. You click the link. It says early alerts. You click that. It's on WAP. You go there. It's $195. There is. There's a cost. Okay, so here's what you get. You get the early alerts. You get the private Telegram. We have the day trading signals throughout the day on all our stocks. You also get the 10-bagger blueprint video course. The video course is there. And you know what you get that's even better than all of that? You get the private chat. You get the community. You get Adam. Adam is there. You got like 100 other. Actually, there's about a dozen guys who are very valuable. We got like 100 people in there. We don't have a lot of people, but about a dozen of them are very experienced day traders. So that's what you get. You get access to ideas from all these guys who are like crushing it day trading stocks, very consistently, very successful. So not only do you get our banger stocks, you also get these other degenerate day trader stocks. Adam, which stocks are people trading in the WAP chat? I don't even know what stocks. Okay, so what are we doing here? Okay, let's look at ADN. Okay, I got to wrap up here. ADN, are we bouncing on ADN 5 minute? Looks like we found a level of support. So ADN is touching support, bouncing. Let's go quick. WGRX chart. WGRX is at key support right now. WGRX is at support. Let's see if it bounces. How about WKSP? WKSP is 5-minute chart. It's stuck. It's stuck. It's at support. It's stuck. I mean, these are like stocks, like right. So I don't know. Just it's a neutral. It's not going up or down. It's stuck in neutral. Okay, it's like, you know, you got the wind blowing the ship, and all of a sudden there's no wind. And I don't know what they call. I forgot what do they call in sailing, where, you know, there's just all of a sudden the wind stops and, like, you know, your ship is, you know, the sails, you know, you're sitting there. Yeah, we need momentum. Here we go. Here we go. Hoth moving up. Hoth has momentum. Not only is it breaking out, also has big volume. Hoth has big volume. Volume tells you where the stock is going. That's right. The volume is the truth. You know, charts tell you the truth in advance, and the volume confirms it. Volume is the confirmation. Volume is the confirmation. So Hoth, we got volume is exploded. Volume is the the volume. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. The thing was dead all summer. Well, and what did I tell everybody? I said, watch this. They're going to wake up right after Labor Day. Richard, did I or did I not say that? Right after Labor Day. How did I know this? You know, people, some people like to take vacations, whatever. You know, it is what it is. And a lot of these guys have like a mentality. A lot of CEOs, they have this mentality. Well, it's the summer in August. Why should I put out good news in the summer? Nobody's there. I can't change their mind, you know? So, start of equilibrium. What does that mean, start of equilibrium? Is that the sailing term? There we go. Richard, yeah. Right after Labor Day, immediately, boom, it explodes, like literally the next day, boom. It's like a horse. It's in the gate opens up, boom, it starts running. And I think we're going to double now. I think we're finally going to double. I mean, you're holding the stock for 3 months. God bless. I mean, you deserve to make some money finally. I mean, ridiculous. I know you were ready to sell it a bunch of times. What did I say? The bigger the consolidation, the bigger the breakout. Okay. So let me repeat again, guys. If you're watching this, how many people we have watching? We got a whole bunch of people. Guys, if you're interested, you have a stock that you think would be, that has 10x upside. It's undervalued. It's like $1 or $2 or under $1. It's on NASDAQ or whatever. It's got a great story. You know, it could benefit from more exposure on Wall Street Reporter and live streams and all that. You refer them to us, we're going to pay you. That's right. We're going to give you between 5 and 10%, depending on how much work. Is it a cold email, a warm introduction? But if you make a referral, if you refer a company to us that we sign up, you know, you're going to make like something like 5 or 10 grand immediately. You're going to get an immediate wire direct to you. You just send an invoice, it goes out. So yeah, if you send us a referral of a company that we sign up, you're gonna get paid. And just all you got to do is contact the company and say, hey, this is a great platform that you could benefit from. I'll make the introduction if you'd like, and just send the CEO an email if he says, yeah, I want to meet these guys, and respond to me, and we'll go from there. Yeah, DM me if you have. Okay, so again, when I mean, again, just to be clear, don't just send me symbols, random symbols. That's not a referral. I want to see that the company knows what we do. They're interested. They want to make a time to talk. That's basically you're scheduling an appointment, basically. Okay, so if you do that, you're going to get paid. And I know we got people watching this saying, well, I want to trade. Like, let's say you're a student, okay, or whatever. You're at home. You only have $1,000 to trade with. You want to trade with $20,000. Very simple. You send a couple of referrals, we sign them up. You're going to get paid. You'll have 20 grand in a month, or at least 10. Okay. That's it. One last look at Hoth. Okay, so Hoth, I'm going to give you one last look over here for the TikTokers. For the TikTokers, I'm going to show you the 4-hour chart. Boom! Look at this cup and handle formation happening, pennant formation, breaking out, and this is what I'm looking for, this move. I'm looking for return to 450. We're here. I'm looking for return to here. We're at $1.83, okay, and ready to move, okay. Z2P buy Hoth. We don't give buy sell advice. This is not a investment advice channel. We don't make recommendations, but if you sign up for our premium service, you'll get the trading signals. We'll tell you when a stock is breaking out above or breaking below the key support, and you'll have also your fellow penny stock billionaires. Richard, I think Hoth at least minimum 350. Minimum 350 is my target. Minimum. Okay, that's it. TikTok. We'll see you in the next one. Click the hearts button, and we'll see you on the next. Okay. All right, YouTube. See you in the next one.